are you?
Just swell. How are you?
Absolutely splendid.
Glad to hear that.
So, do you think it's possible for aliens to exist?
Well, I'm probably going to talk around that question, but then come back and answer it. First thing I have to say is that astronomers' best estimates say that there's about 100 billion galaxies in the world. But I think for now we should just talk about the Milky Way. The Milky Way has about 200 to 400, let's say 300 billion stars. And on average, each star has about one planet. So we can call that at least 100 billion planets in the galaxy. Of those 100 billion, 40 billion of them are Earth-sized. 11 billion orbit sun-like stars like our sun. And 8.8 billion of those are habitable Earth-sized planets. And just to put that in perspective, 8.8 billion is about Earth's expected human population, which is obviously consistently rising, is going to be around 8.8 billion in 2050. And, like I said, they're going to be habitable Earth-sized planets.
So when you say habitable, what does that mean exactly?
When I say habitable, I usually mean habitable for humans. And according to the University of Utah, there are about 4 things that make a planet habitable for humans. First thing is that they have to be in the habitable zone of their star, which is far enough away to escape extreme heat and radiation, but not too far away to be extremely cold. Second thing is they need to be made of rock. We don't really expect life to survive on gas giants. The planets also have to be big enough to have a molten core. This is very important because Earth's core gives us a source of geothermal energy, sets up a magnetic field which protects us from radiation, and also allows the cycling of raw materials within Earth. They also need to have a protective atmosphere with gases like carbon dioxide and nitrogen and other gases that keep the planet warm and again protect us from radiation. But enough with theoretics, we should probably talk about actual numbers. There are more than 1,000 confirmed exoplanets, and the exoplanet is just a planet outside of our solar system. And about 32 of these are habitable Earth-like planets. Again, these numbers are just for potentially habitable planets for humans. But here we're talking about aliens, and we can't really tell what aliens are able to survive in. Even life on Earth has evolved to live in the craziest conditions. More than 80% of habitats on Earth are below 5 degrees Celsius, and there's no shortage of species anywhere. Emperor penguins, for instance, can survive in the Antarctic winds, which can bring temperatures below negative 60 degrees Celsius. With temperature this more, even from extreme cold to extreme heat. This organism called strain 121 can continue to replicate in temperatures up to 121 degrees Celsius. With temperatures that's even pressure, with fish can live up to 8,730 meters below the sea. But just a few hundred meters below the sea, proteins begin to break down due to the pressure. Even with those two, there's another factor of time which can take away, like Earth, the species. Showing that time doesn't really affect species either. This one species called Antarctica islandica is the oldest living creature, which is around 400 years old, showing that time doesn't really affect creatures. But with this, as the species gets older, the death rate drops. On top of all of this, many species on Earth can last years or even decades without water, once thought to be one of the most essential things for life. Nematode worms, mosses, and hundreds of flowering plants replace their water molecules with sugar, turning their cytoplasm into a solid called sugar glass, which keeps them alive without water for many years. Life on Earth has been around for nearly as long as Earth itself. The rocky structure of Earth formed around 3.8 billion years ago, and the first microbes were around at least 3.5 billion years ago. Intelligent life, however, or Homo sapiens to be exact, are less than 200,000 years old. This is 0.000057% of the time microbes have been around. In galaxies younger than the Milky Way, intelligent life may not be alive, but microbes have a high chance. But in galaxies older than the Milky Way, the chance of intelligent life is more probable than the formation of intelligent life on Earth. But microbes, without a doubt, have to exist, just based on the numbers for Earth. So to answer your question, yes, it is definitely possible for aliens to exist.
Oh wait, the microphone wasn't even on.
Oh, that's That sucks.
So, if you're so sure that aliens exist, why haven't we seen them yet?
Well, the closest exoplanet to Earth is about 4.3 light years away. A light year is how far light moving at 299,792,458 meters per second can go in 1 Earth year. To put this into perspective again, 1 light year is about 5,879,000,000,000 miles. Meaning if we look directly into the exoplanet that's 4.3 light years away, which orbits Alpha Centauri B, what we're looking at is what was actually there 4.3 years ago. Another example of this is the Big Dipper, which is 123 light years away. Meaning that if the Big Dipper exploded today, we wouldn't know for 123 years. We have telescopes that are able to look far, but unfortunately the Hubble, which is our best one, is unable to take a closer look at planets and see their surfaces. We can only see planets around their stars and large-scale things like galaxies. There are roughly 2,000 stars at a distance of up to 50 light years from our solar system. 64 of them are yellow-orange G stars like our sun, and as many 15% of them can have Earth-sized planets in habitable zones. Anything we see around or from these planets is 50 years in the past. Life may have formed 49 years ago, and we still wouldn't know for another year. The only reason why we have been unable to see aliens thus far is the fact that light from exoplanets just takes too long for us to see in a timely manner.
So, do you think we'll ever be able to see the aliens?
Yeah, eventually.
If other life forms can live on other planets, do you think that it's possible that humans too could one day live on other planets?
Well, there are 3 planets that scientists think may be possible for human life. These planets are Kepler-62e, Kepler-62f, and Kepler-69c. These planets are much smaller than most, but are 1,200 light years away. They all orbit the star Kepler-62. The smaller a planet is, the less likely it is made of gas, and the more likely it is that humans could live on it. Kepler-62f, because of its small size, is most like our own planet, as it is thought to be only 40% larger than Earth. Scientists believe that Kepler-62f could be rocky with both land masses and water. So with enough time to search for the perfect conditions, I do believe human life could thrive on other planets.
That's neat. Thank you.
No, thank you.